potentially a team that could repeat, maybe not repeat back-to-back, but certainly they've had a history of going back to championships, Jason. And we get started here. WVU set to begin with Sky Stokes to serve, and it's an early ace for the West Virginia Mountaineers. They lead 1-0.
Yeah, and we talked this week to Coach Sunahara. Keys to tonight's match. West Virginia going to have to serve it really well, put pressure on this Texas defense, even as good as they are. If you're going to make hay, that's where it's got to be.
First touch is so important tonight, and Stokes with another one. And just like that, that's her career high, her season high, 2 aces to start.
Yeah, it's a great start for Sky Stokes at the service line, and a great start for the Mountaineers, giving them confidence early.
Stokes not an every match starter, but she is starting tonight, the freshman for West Virginia. And there's the third in a row.
Yeah, 3 straight big-time swings by Stokes. She's got a big top serve. You'll see it here. Ball tailing away and really having a hard time there. Morgan O'Brien for the Longhorns.
Big-time player, 2018 in the state of Ohio, 2019 in the state of West Virginia. Could you do it one more time? And you heard it being called out by Texas Longhorn almost from the moment it left her fist.
Yeah, big serve, high risk, high reward serve. We saw the reward 3 times there for West Virginia, and there is the risk.
That was Morgan O'Brien who called it. You'll hear her name a lot. She is really the senior stateswoman on this team, despite it being her first year in Texas. So the Longhorns to serve, it's Nalani Osia. Hastings on the dig for West Virginia, and is this one in? Yes, for the Mountaineers, and an early first set start. They lead 4-1. This is a Texas team, by the way, that they sweep most of their opponents.
Yeah, and it looks like we might get a challenge here. Jared Elliott asking the down official. It actually hit the official, I thought, in the foot. I thought this ball was long. So did he. We will not get a challenge. West Virginia leads 4-1.
Very early here for a challenge as West Virginia, it's Hastings to serve, and then a huge kill at the net front, and you'll hear her name a lot tonight, Logan Eggleston.
Yeah, and you can see what makes Logan Eggleston such a great hitter is her ability to get off the floor. She's so athletic, so long. She's able to get up and hit over that West Virginia block.
Junior Sydney Peterson now is set to serve for Texas. There's the dig from Stokes. Going to set this one up on the outside. This is deflected. Texas able to keep this alive. Going to try and set this one up for Eggleston. Net front block. Eggleston does a nice job to keep this alive. They're going to try and set her up again. Pushes this one up. Stokes with a nice dig. West Virginia net front play. And we're still alive. Going to try and set this one up for Petrova. That one off the net. And now Texas, here's Eggleston. That one deflected net front. Great volley here. And they're going to set this one up. And there's the net front block, but out of play. And a West Virginia point.
Yeah, good rally here, both teams. And you're going to see one of the reasons why Texas is the #1 team in the country. Their ability to block the ball. Asia O'Neal getting her hands on some balls up front right there. But in the end, Dombrowski using that block against Texas as it deflects, ricochets out of bounds.
The freshman Dombrowski, by the way, who is just starting her 3rd match of the season for West Virginia to serve its Proctor. And this one out. Texas looking for an aggressive kill there, and no surprise because this is a Texas team that can do some damage, but early on, West Virginia taking it to them a little bit.
Yeah, this is just a hitting error. This is the right spot, the right idea to go down the line, just wide on the spot.
Here's Proctor, this senior again. She goes cross court on that one, going to try and set up on the far side, and there's a kill for Asia O'Neal. You'll hear her name a lot tonight as well.
Yeah, Asia O'Neal a year ago against West Virginia was 8 attempts, 8 kills. She had a perfect hitting percentage against the Mountaineers 1 year ago.
41st in the nation in hitting percentage among those who have played at least 15 sets this season. And she's part of a very dangerous Texas core. 6-3, this one just off the net. Going to try and set this one up for Adams for West Virginia. Net front play here. Fields able to put this one up. Once again, battle at the net. Texas keeping this alive. Going to try and come near side of the floor. Good dig there from Alexa Hastings. Far side, Petrova puts a little finesse on that one, then wants to push one back. Good positioning there for Texas. Net front play there, and West Virginia wins the battle at the front.
Yeah, ball gets tight to the net. A bit of an overpass here off of a Petrova swing. We get the overpass, and you're going to see the joust at the net. Petrova, the Mountaineers, a little stronger there than Texas.
Speaking of Texas, the Katy, Texas native Natalie Winters checked in. She'll be serving for the Mountaineers. She's got a cannon. She shows us there. Good dig for Texas. And net front play deflected off West Virginia. Asia O'Neal will get the kill, and it's 7-4 West Virginia.
Yeah, and O'Neal at 6'3" is incredibly long. Not only is she 6'3" and tall, but she's long arms. Again, athletic, gets off the floor. Really a challenge to block an athlete that has that ability.
O'Neal to serve now for Texas, part of an incredible Texas core that is essentially all going to stick together and terrorize the Big 12 for the next few years. But West Virginia will get that one there. No terror on the West Virginia side.
Yeah, and this time it's Audrey Adams, and we've seen this out of West Virginia. They like to run Adams around Zerwas' setter, let her come off of 1 foot and drive that volleyball.
Adams set to serve for West Virginia. They lead 8-4. Over Texas right now. Far side of the floor. This deflected. Chasing back is Winter. Going to set this up for Kristen Lux, and Lux too much on it.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that Coach Unahara would like to see cleaned up on the West Virginia side. Again, a hitting error. It's an unforced error. This ball is not tight to the net. Zerwas gives Lux the ball off the net, but wants to be a little more intelligent and roll that ball in the floor.
Lux struggled at times during that first match against Iowa State. West Virginia sweeping Iowa State. It was the first time they'd beaten the Cyclones in program history since joining the Big 12. First time they swept them as well. There's Lux again. That's a good dig there by Yosia for Texas. Setting this one up, and what a kill there for Skylar Fields, just going across court here from near to far.
Yeah, and you said it, Yosia with a great dig. Ball wasn't driven too hard, but perfect pass, gave her hitters options.
First touch so important in this one, Jason.
Yeah, for both sides. For West Virginia, it's your only prayer. You have to have good defense tonight. You have to give Zerwas options, or this block for Texas is going to be a nightmare.
And there's Lux. You know, that was a shot that wasn't really working for her much against Iowa State. That one just a little bit out, and it'll be 8-7 for Texas. 7 consecutive weeks ranked #1 in the AVCA top 15. This is a very good Longhorn team. They're back within 1.
Not only are they very good, they're very young. This is a junior-laden team, and with the potential of these kids playing this season and not counting against their eligibility, this same team could return for 2 more seasons.
Great kill there, though, for Kristen Lux, the junior from Nebraska for the Mountaineers. They lead this first set 9-7. Of course, there's some history here in that though WVU has never beaten Texas, they've gone to 5 sets a couple times here in Morgantown.
Yeah, with the Longhorns ranked #1 at the time.
And we have it looks like maybe have a net front violation there. So West Virginia going to get the point. 10-7, and Zerwas will serve for the Mountaineers. This is West Virginia's best season, though, so far in the Big 12. Highest win total, got their first ever sweep, and currently ranked highest ever in the AVCA rankings.
Yeah, and just crazy tough times for West Virginia, right? So you're having one of the best seasons you've ever had. First time you've ever been ranked. You get ranked 15th, you got to go play at #2 Baylor. This week, West Virginia gets ranked. Who's their opponent? #1 Texas. So yes, you get in, but as soon as you get into those rankings, you're playing one of the best teams in the country.
We've got a timeout on the floor. West Virginia has got another point in a net front violation. 11-7, they lead in this first set, and the Mountaineers are
good defense by West Virginia. Gets the ball back to Zerwas. They're able to go a little quicker on their timing to Lynch, and she sneaks it over before Butler can get that block and put the set.
Brianna Lynch, one of the most important two-way players on this team. Meanwhile, Zerwas to serve for West Virginia. Great dig there. I'm going to try and set things up on the outside. Net front block set up there. That was Lynch. Once again, same attempt. Ball still alive, and Molly Phillips, who got hot, by the way, in the game against Baylor, I believe it was, had 4 consecutive kills almost out of nowhere. She's going to get the kill there.
Yeah, first ball she didn't cut quite as deep. This time she really cuts the ball in the second attempt inside the 10-foot line and elevated, really drove that ball.
So Texas reclaims the serve, but puts this one right into the net. That was Morgan O'Brien, and West Virginia leads by 5. Mountaineers 6-2 on the season when winning the first set. Texas, I mean, there's not many data points of them losing a set period this season.
Yeah, they've really, if you look at the numbers, they have really dominated their opponents this season.
Sky Stokes back at the service line, and this one, if it's in, it's an ace, her 4th ace.
Yeah, and it's uncharacteristic of this Texas team to give up an ace period. Before, almost unheard of.
All in one set. Stokes, once again, this one just off the net and able to get under it was Yosia. Going to set this one up for Eggleston. She's just going to push this one over. Stokes with the dig. Then Brianna Lynch pushes it over for West Virginia. Now Texas going to try and set this one up on the outside. Finesse ball by Molly Phillips. West Virginia going up front. A lot of finesse going on here. Megan Dombrowski. Here's Eggleston going to try and kill one. And she took a little bit off it, and it's a point for UT.
Yeah, great ball here. Both ways. Jared Elliott a little frustrated, thought it was a lift. But you see her, she's got her shoulders square to go cross court, turns her hand and goes down the line. Really nice play.
So here's the freshman, Yosia, puts this one high in the air and fires it into the net. Another service error, and West Virginia leads set one, 15-9. If you're Texas, you haven't been in this position much this year. What are you thinking right now out there?
Well, I think it could be a factor of the fact that you just went and played number 2 Baylor, probably the biggest match of your year, and beat them in a very intense, match, and now you're coming back and you're playing, in your mind, somebody who is inferior. What you don't realize is the team on the other side of the net's having one of the best years in their program history, and you always have a target on your back if you're number 1.
Asia O'Neal, by the way, with a really nice finesse shot there to pick up a point for Texas. 15-10 now. The Mountaineers lead the Longhorns to serve here in set number 1. There's Sky Stokes on the initial dig. West Virginia going to set this up for Petrova, the Bulgarian. She got that over Eggleston with the dig. Now setting up Eggleston, and that is ruled in.
Yeah, and that's somebody that has led Texas in kills most matches this year. So when she's in the front row, you're going to see her get a lot of work out here on the outside.
Extremely dangerous from the outside. Texas once again, and this is a really nice serve. Took a little something off it, and that's an ace for UT.
Yeah, that's Sydney Peterson, defensive specialist, coming in to play in the back row. Gets an ace.
She was a starting libero as a freshman, now a junior, slightly different role. Stokes with the initial dig, going to set this one up on the outside. Great play there. Petrova blocked at the net front, but the ball stays a lift and finally lands out, so it's a West Virginia point.
Yeah, I believe the down official here actually calls a net violation. I'm not sure on the 2, potentially Gabriel in the net here for Texas, giving West Virginia the serve.
16-12, West Virginia. Proctor to serve. Going to try and set up Eggleston. Great block at the net front for West Virginia. Here's Eggleston again for Texas. This one just barely deflected. Getting a piece of it. Now pushing this one over for West Virginia. And that will be out of play and a Texas point.
Yeah, and an error on West Virginia's side that they would probably like to have back. Audrey Adams stuck in Zerwas, the setter's way, and just can't get out. And they both end up trying to pass the ball over, and becomes an unforced error.
So now Eggleston to serve for the Longhorns. She has 4 kills. This is our first time seeing her at the service line. Fires this one over. There's the dig from Hastings. Zerwas. This one just lightly pushed over. Going to try and set up Asia O'Neal. Good dig there from Proctor for West Virginia. Setting up Petrova, and that is going out for a West Virginia point. Last touch by Sydney Peterson.
Yeah, Lutz will go down the line this time. Just again, for her, she's gone cross court, missed a couple of times. This time down the line, has a little success just on the outside, the right side of Peterson.
So West Virginia to serve, it's Natalie Winter. Winter fires one over. Good dig there by Yosia. Going to try and set up Skylar Fields. West Virginia able to keep that alive. Great volley here. Going to try and set up Sydney Peterson and Asia O'Neal, and O'Neal just crushes that one.
Yeah, and this is what West Virginia can't do. They can't be content with just getting balls back over the net, because, yeah, that might just keep a point alive, but all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable against this Longhorn team.
Absolutely. O'Neal at 6'3", and again, that's a very long, 6'3", very athletic, physical player like most of this Texas team. And a service ace there for Texas. And one of the things you're noticing about the Longhorns, that was O'Neal there on the service ace to pull the Longhorns within 2. But they're doing a lot of this mostly through finesse. They're not powering a lot of these aces over.
No, and she's known for her play at the net, but that's a big-time serve.
17-15, West Virginia leads. However, this one a little long, and the West Virginia will take the error. That is Texas's third service error. So, you know, one of the things you and I talked about before the match was that West Virginia was going to kind of have to be perfect, and maybe Texas was going to have to have a little bit of an off night. So far, through set number 1, that has been the case. 18-15, as here's Skylar Fields, and Fields, it's open season. Gets the kill, and Texas back within 2.
Yeah, and when Skylar Fields gets an opportunity on the outside, again, you see the athleticism, you see the length. This Texas team, so physical.
Big 12 Freshman of the Year last year, and of course an all Big 12 player as well, having another fine season for the Longhorns. And trying to set things up for Brianna Lynch. Good net front block by the Longhorns. Lynch again, no, this time it's Lux, and the block deflected out, so West Virginia up 19-16 now.
Yeah, and that's a tough ball to get through that block. That's 6'4", 6'4" in Phillips and Butler at the net. But Lux, again, finds a way.
Zerwas to serve for West Virginia. Mountaineers up by 3 here. That one just at the net, gets over. Great block in the front. Texas is going to be able to keep this alive. West Virginia here's Hastings. Wants Lux, and Lux going cross court, and that one just barely out, but right idea there from Kristen Lux.
Yeah, didn't miss this by much. This is coming right at us, right directly at our broadcast location here. But man, this ball is just wide.
Far side to near side, and that was a shot that Lux had some trouble with against Iowa State, but that looked really close for West Virginia. 2-point affair here in set number 1. Mountaineers lead. Texas hot on their tail. West Virginia at the net front. This is Lux, and Lux down that far side line. No, it's out.
It is wide. It is definitely wide, but every Mountaineer instantly asking for a tip, as if not just one, but many of them saw it, and Coach Sunahara are going to grab the challenge card, and we're going to get a look at a replay.
Now this is a big point. Take a look here at what West Virginia see here exactly what West Virginia is asking.
9 aces for a match. She's done it here in set number 1.
Stokes fires this one, and it's just out. So Texas will take the point there. You know, if you've seen Stokes play, that's been the conversation about how she hadn't found a lot of aces so far this season, but you can tell with a powerful serve like her, she's changed a lot of points.
Yeah, and it's not always about the ace, right? It's about getting a team to play out of system, not giving them those options to their setter.
And Brianna Lynch picks up a kill for West Virginia there. Ball deflected. Mountaineers lead 21-18, and they are closing in on something that simply does not happen to Texas very often this season. That is losing a set.
Yeah, and you saw Lynch move. West Virginia moving their middles around a little bit.
Texas Eggleston, and Eggleston picks her spot and has no problem finding it on the far side of the floor.
Yeah, you're going to see here the West Virginia defense too deep. This athleticism, they're driving the ball in front of this West Virginia second line of defense.
The junior Eggleston, and the fact that she's still going to be a junior next year along with a number of other players, of course, as a result of COVID-19 changes in eligibility rules, that's going to be big for Texas. Stokes on the dig there. West Virginia, this one set up. Petrova does a nice job. Ball is partially blocked. Mountaineers see if they can set her up again. They do. Good dig there for Texas. That time it was O'Brien. Going to set up Eggleston, and I'm not sure. That one may have been going out. Stokes was diving for it and got a piece of it.
No, good thing. I mean, Stokes should dive. I believe this ball was touched right at the net as part of the block. I believe it was Dombrowski that got a piece of it. Stokes tried to make a play in the back row, but again, you can see Eggleston, it's just that athleticism. They're so tall and so long. This Longhorn team, their hitting is something to witness. 6
kills for the Longhorns, or excuse me, for Eggleston of the Longhorns, and it is a 1-point first set here, 21.
Yeah, and it was the story of this one was West Virginia's start, right? Sky Stokes steps to the service line, and it was not 1 ace, not 2 aces, but 3 aces to start the match for Sky Stokes. Again, huge top spin serve. We've also seen her have a couple service errors, but it was the start West Virginia needed.
West Virginia and Texas here in Morgantown at the WVU Coliseum. Again, it's 21-20. Texas was down by as much as 5, but now the Longhorns have cut
by the Longhorns.
Peterson to serve for Texas. Longhorns down by a single point here in set number 1. Stokes on the dig from that back line. Gonna set things up the net front for Megan Dombrowski, but she runs into a block up front and a point for Texas. They're even at 21.
Yeah, the combination here of O'Neal and Eggleston, and I believe Eggleston gets this block. But that is the story, right? West Virginia's hitters against this Texas front line block.
Peterson again, Stokes with the initial dig, gonna set this one up for Adams at the net front, and Adams gets it through the block that time, point for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, this time she cuts it a little more, brings it off the inside blocker O'Neal as she's transitioning to her left. The Mountaineers with a 1-point lead late.
Lindsey Proctor to serve for West Virginia. Proctor, a senior from New York. And in a nip and tuck battle here with Texas in this first set. Proctor gets this one over. Yosia with the dig and the setup Eggleston. Eggleston wants to go finesse. West Virginia not fooled that time. Fires this one over and deflected a couple of times. West Virginia with the point.
Yeah, and really good decision here by Zerwas to go back row to Stokes, and she delivers. Big time swing. We've seen it from the service line. Now we see it from a back row attack.
Really good first set for Sky Stokes, and we're going to have a timeout on the floor called by Texas. As Stokes with 4 service aces and now a kill in this one. The freshman maybe showing that the spotlight not too big for her in this one.
Yeah, and really, Zerwas didn't have an option. Adam only ranked 2nd in the country.
Sure. Lindsey Proctor to serve for West Virginia. Once again, the Mountaineers up 23-21 in set number 1. It's first to 25, win by 2. Oh, not a great response there for Texas. And right in the front there for West Virginia was Audrey Adams.
Yeah, and Adams does a nice job. She sees the overpass, and she just goes up and hits it where they're not. She sees the opening to her right and just dumps that ball there.
For West Virginia now, set point. Good dig response there. Going to try and set things up for O'Neal. This one across the line. Point West Virginia! And the Mountaineers win their first set over Texas since September 23rd, 2017. They take set number 1, 25-21.
Yeah, what a first set for West Virginia. That should give you some confidence if there was ever any doubt. If you could play with this Texas team, you just stole set number 1.
West Virginia wins 25.
Unbelievably well coached, but you gotta love that West Virginia didn't back down, came right at Texas and said, no, we're here to play. If you don't wake up, we're gonna get you. And that's exactly what they did.
And by the way, if you're not aware of just how talented this Texas team is, this is a coach in Jared Elliott, 8 top 2 recruiting classes since joining Texas. They didn't sign anyone this past signing day. That's how stacked they are right now. As we're back underway with set number 2. And Texas setting this one up. West Virginia able to stay alive. Looks like Kristen Lux, net front block, but she's able to get a nice dig there. Winter fires one across, and from far side to near side out of play.
Yeah, and here you're going to see it. Winters goes up. Winter tries to go to her right and just misses wide.
The sophomore from Katy, Texas. So the Longhorns pick up the first point of set number 2. Going to try and set up Brianna Lynch, and Lynch gets this through a net front block. We're even at 1.
Yeah, and you've got Breon Butler for Texas in the middle. You can see West Virginia's strategy has been to move its middles. Don't challenge her one-on-one in the middle. It's not worth it. Make her move, and that's what West Virginia has found success with so far.
West Virginia to serve is Hastings, and on the dig, the return opportunity, no good. And West Virginia up 2-1 here early in set number 2.
Yeah, and West Virginia's also had its success from the service line. Already 5 aces in this one.
That time it was Hastings. This one into the net. Correction, Zerwas, excuse me. Zerwas into the net.
Really important, I think, here in set number 2, Alex, is to watch West Virginia serve receive. It needs to be spot on.
That's Yosia on the serve for Texas. West Virginia trying to set this one up was Dombrowski. Now Eggleston, and great dig there from Alexa Hastings. West Virginia, it's Lux. Lux is going to try and push this one over with her fingertips. Able to do it. Eggleston again down the line. Texas with the point.
But there we see it, right? You give Texas easy ball after easy ball. Eventually, they're going to make you pay. If you're West Virginia, you have to apply more pressure.
6'2" junior Logan Eggleston with that kill. Yosia to serve for the Longhorns, and this one is out. Good call there by Natalie Winter. We're even at 3.
Yeah, I thought Winter at first gave a look like I thought you were going to get it, and then the ball ends up being out. She says, yeah, I meant to do that.
Sky Stokes to serve, and we've been watching her closely as with every service ace is a career high for the freshman. She has 4 in that first set, 3 to start things off. This one, good dig, well set there, and the Longhorns kind of just push this over finesse-wise. Then Brianna Lynch at the net front finds that back left corner for the kill.
Yeah, a bit of a miscommunication. Eggleston ends up mistiming the jump, tips it over. West Virginia takes advantage of basically a free ball. Brianna Lynch gets a kill.
Stokes once again to serve high in the air, fires this one into the net, and we're even at 4.
Yeah, both teams kind of having their own go of it here at the net. We've seen both do things from the service line. It's going to be about defense.
Peterson to serve this time, and if you look, of course, keep an eye on 33s. Logan Eggleston for Texas, how dangerous she is. There's the dig from Hastings. West Virginia to set up Petrova, and Petrova fires this one well out. I think West Virginia maybe wanted a deflection, but they're not going to get it.
No, and this ball comes off her hand awkward early. She'd like to have it back. She just misses that one.
Yeah, nearly hit the, I think may have even gotten it past the baseline here on the Coliseum floor. So 5-4, Texas leads. Going to try and set this one up far side. Petrova again, and that's a really good one right at Eggleston, who is in good position, but just doesn't have it there.
Yeah, this time Petrova doesn't miss, right? So she mishits the last one. This one she gets on top of and drives right in front of Eggleston.
The Bulgarian native for West Virginia reclaims the serve for the Mountaineers. Here's Hastings. On the dig is Yosia. Going to try and set up Eggleston, and that's going to be trouble. Texas with the point.
Yeah, and really, if you're West Virginia, your block is set where it needs to be, but you can see the power here of Eggleston, and she just powers it through the hands of the Mountaineer block.
Well, that is kill number 8 tonight for Logan Eggleston, the team leading hitter. Now with a .438 hitting percentage, she has been as good as advertised. West Virginia going to try and set up Petrova on the far side. Good dig by Yosia. They're going to try and set up Skylar Fields, the sophomore now. Diving play for West Virginia, able to keep it alive. Stokes puts this one up into the block, though, and it's Asia O'Neal at the net front.
And that was Skylar Fields getting a really good look there down the line. Again, so athletic, going over the West Virginia block.
4-0 scoring run now for the Longhorns. And Eggleston to serve once again for Texas. Fields is right in front of us, but that one a bit too far there, and service error will give West Virginia the serve back.
Yeah, and she instantly tells her teammates, my bad is bad toss. And now we're going to get Lindsey Proctor to step to the service line for the Mountaineers.
For the Longhorns, they had a couple of service errors in that first set. They're now up to 5 here total in the match. Proctor for West Virginia goes far side of the floor. It was Eggleston on the dig. Oh, and a net front play there. Ball took a bit of an odd direction, and Texas has an opportunity here for an easy kill down the line, and looks like it went out. I think Texas is thinking maybe deflection.
Yeah, she instantly asked, right? I mean, so O'Neal hits the floor, instantly says tip, and kind of has this confused look like, why wasn't it called? No challenge, point West Virginia.
That was Asia O'Neal there for the Longhorns. Here's Eggleston again on the dig. Firing this one up for Skylar Fields, then Stokes with a nice job there. Petrova just pushes this one over. Ball still alive. Pushing this one back over is Fields. West Virginia going to try and set this up for Adams. Bit of a mishit there. Texas puts it over. Now West Virginia, can they set this up? And into the net, it's Petrova. That's Texas's point.
Yeah, huge play by Sydney Peterson, right? Ball's going to hit the floor. She throws out a pancake, flat hand right underneath the ball. It comes up. She keeps the point alive for Texas, who ends up winning that point.
Yeah, for a moment, I really thought the point was over. Great job there, and the Longhorns retain the serve. 10-7. This is O'Neal. Set things up for Adams, net front, up for the block. It's Butler and Fields, and Texas with another point.
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, West Virginia have been moving their middles. This time you see Adams again looping around the setter, coming off 1 foot. This time Texas not fooled a bit.
O'Neal to serve for Texas. They lead 11-7, trailing in this first set. West Virginia took the first one 25-21. And there's Petrova, and tried to take a little something off that time and took maybe a little too much off.
Yeah, a little frustration on her face after this one because she's got the right idea. There's a huge open spot down the net, but she just doesn't get it to cross.
So for Texas, now they lead 12-7 after trailing essentially the entire first set. In fact, they did trail that entire first set. They're in command here in set number 2. There's Petrova. Eggleston on the dig, going to try and set up Fields, and Fields into the block. Well-timed jump for West Virginia. That was Zerwas.
Yeah, again, so West Virginia doing what Texas does so well, scoring from its defense here. This time it's a big-time block. It's Zerwas out here, gets her fingertip on it, redirects.
Natalie Winter to serve for the Mountaineers. High in the air, and looks like a bit of a miscommunication there for Texas, going to lead to a West Virginia point, as not sure who was going to that ball in the back line.
Yeah, well, Lux is going to get credited with the point, but really it should belong to Winter, right? It was a big-time swing and an overpass by Texas.
It looked like Yosia and Eggleston couldn't decide who wanted that. Winter to serve again. Texas, nice job there. Down the lines the shot, and we have a whistle and a point for Texas, thinking maybe into the net, or was it a double hit?
Yeah, net violation here. Kristen Lux.
It was Lori Stahara, the official on the far side of the floor, who made the call. So 13-9, Texas on top. And for the Longhorns, serving is the junior Jenna Gabriel. And Gabriel, that one just kind of floated on her, and another service error for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and the service errors have been a little bit higher than you maybe expect out of Texas. But again, I think if you're West Virginia, you almost need that if you want to stick around.
Yeah, that is the 6th service error as Adams serving for West Virginia. At the net front, West Virginia able to get a good dig there after a heck of a shot by Texas at the front. Longhorns, Gabriel to set this one up again at the corner of the floor, and that's a point for Texas.
Yeah, and that's tough to defend if you're West Virginia. That's a free ball that Texas gets. Setter has 3 options, and it's not just any 3 options. You got Fields, you got Butler. I mean, you got Phillips in the front row too. I mean, that's a tough guess if you're West Virginia.
And well, by the way, Texas they pick up their 7th serving error there. They average fewer than 6 per match. We're in set number 2. That's number 7.
Yeah, and again, so West Virginia already has seen a career high in aces by one of its players. Texas having a tough night from the service line. It's things like that you need to go your way if you're the Mountaineers.
Zerwas on the serve for West Virginia, and then at the net front, picking up a point for the Mountaineers, Breon Butler getting it through the Mountaineer block.
Yeah, and this ball was a very blockable ball for West Virginia, but the problem is the power of that swing forces the ball to stay on West Virginia's side.
And that looked like the matchup we've been really looking for, this one with Butler and Lynch. And Lynch fires one over, instead runs into the block, but very playable ball here. Here's Lux, and this one going out.
West Virginia!
And deflected, so West Virginia will pick up the point there.
Yeah, it was deflected instantly by the Texas block.
Set up on that far side of the floor there. I'm thinking might have been Molly Phillips getting a piece of it. Sky Stokes to serve, obviously having a really big day at the line. Good dig there for Morgan O'Brien, firing this one over, a little bit of finesse there. Now here's Stokes in the middle of the floor. This, we're gonna have to chase it all the way out. And a kill for Stokes, and West Virginia there within 2.
But you saw Sky Stokes make an adjustment, right? Last time she got a swing out of the back row, she took a full cut at it. Texas blocked it. This time, she rolls the ball over that block, and believe it or not, West Virginia gets a point off of an easier swing.
Stokes, again, had that huge start to this match with 3 consecutive service aces. Picks up a service error there, though, and Texas take a 16-13 lead here in set number 2. West Virginia as a whole, that is the team's 5th service error. And for the Longhorns up by 3, it's Peterson at the line. West Virginia, it's Stokes gonna set this one up. And Stokes, that one just missed down the near line.
Well, a couple things on this play by West Virginia. First, the first contact's not where you need it. You need to give Zerwas options. You weren't able to do that. Had to give, you called it perfect, partner. That was right down the line.
19-14, and Texas rebounding nicely here in set number 2 after dropping the first set 25-21.
It looked like Hastings did not expect that ball to be to her outside.
She's set up there now and in perfect spot there. Far side of the floor, setting this one up. Eggleston with the dig there, gonna go near side for Texas. Skylar Fields gets it through the net front block set up by Dombrowski and Adams.
Yeah, really nice defense here by Texas. Nice dig. Ball's shot tight to the net, but man, was it put on the money.
Timeout on the floor. And about that with Jared Elliott, and he said, you know, he told us earlier today, if it goes 5 sets, even after they went back-to-back fivers with Baylor, they're not that concerned about it. They think that they'll be able to hold up.
Yeah, and they have incredible depth.
So here's Eggleston to serve again for Texas, and Hastings just barely able to get a piece of that one, but does. Stokes is going to put this one up. Now Texas wants to set up Skylar Fields near side. Stokes with the dig. There's Zerwas and West Virginia, net front block, ball still alive though. Zerwas again, gonna try and set up Petrova. Petrova looking for a spot on the floor, good diving play there from Texas is Peterson. Stokes, good spot in the back of the floor. Stokes once again fires one and well out of play. Longhorns pick up the point, they're up by a touchdown.
Yeah, and again, this one, Sky Stokes probably like to have back. The ball's out in front of her a little bit, and instead of taking a little something off, she really cranked on it.
21-14, Logan Eggleston again to serve, and for Texas, they're on a 4-0 scoring run since Eggleston took over at the line. Stokes with the dig, a little bit of a miscommunication there, but West Virginia able to recover, and then a ball just a bit too far for Petrova on that far side of the floor, and it's a point for the Longhorns, and they're closing in on that second set victory.
Yeah, not only that, they've stolen all momentum. Any momentum West Virginia had, the building is now flat. Fans actually back in the building, but not making any difference now. They were really loud during set number 1.
That they were, and good to see them back, of course. They were here as well against Iowa State at 25% capacity. As firing this one into the corner there, what a shot by Natalie Petrova. Wow.
Yeah, and this ball originally I thought was long, but actually seeing the replay here in the Coliseum, it did look like that ball was good.
That was really tight, and I wouldn't have been surprised. Now, granted, they're up by 7 here, but maybe in a closer match, that's one you might consider a challenge for. Here's Proctor and Eggleston on the dig. They're going to try and set up Fields, and Fields with an absolute rocket.
Yeah, this ball is already through the block before the block is even completely set. You're going to see it here. She's up. They go a little shorter on the set, not the high set we've seen. A little shorter on the set. Little quicker timing play, and the offense runs a little faster.
Fields' 5th kill so far of the match. Asia O'Neal to serve for Texas. Proctor on the dig. There's Zerwas, and going for Adams. Adams, nice job, then ball into the net, and this will be a Texas point.
Yeah, and essentially it's going to be called a net violation, but it's really Lindsey Proctor. There's nothing she can do here. She has to reach out and grab the net. She's trying to make a play. You see Adams go down. She's falling forward. Puts her hand in the net.
Set point here for Asia O'Neal and the Longhorns. And they've got a lot of cushion up 24-15. Bit of a miss hit here. Nice job by Texas. Well-timed jump by Zerwas. Going to try and push this one over her head this time. Zerwas going to set up Petrova. And Petrova, really the big 3 for Texas. And they just seem to just pick up those kills.
Well, not only that, but the West Virginia defense has got to be better, right? I mean, it's already hard enough to play a Texas team. You've got to be able to put pressure on them. The defense was unable to give Zerwas the ball where she could really pick and choose her hitters.
Natalie Winter to serve. Yosia on the dig. Texas, a little bit of a miss hit there, but West Virginia, now it's Lux. And Lux, great dig there from UT. Eggleston, her kill attempt is met with a response there by Proctor. The net front here once again. This one deflected by Proctor. And it's 1-0 Texas. So the Longhorns through 2 sets 22 kills, West Virginia 22 kills, and then there you see the difference in hitting percentage, though.
Yeah, and again, that speaks volumes to what West Virginia's trying to go through against this Texas defense.
Yosia now going to try and set up Eggleston, who fires one, and Hastings got a piece of it, but the senior can't get much of it.
Yeah, when she gets it there, you're in trouble.
9 kills now for Eggleston. Again, can't say it enough, as good as advertised for this unbeaten Texas team. Here's Yosia, the freshman. Bit of a miss hit there. Texas gonna try and set up on the outside. Net front block for West Virginia there to meet it. Now gonna go to Eggleston. She goes towards the back part of the floor. Interesting little volley we have had here. A couple of miss hits. Then Natalie Winter there, miss hit on the dig.
Yeah, so West Virginia gave Texas a free ball in that. 2 miss hits by their back row on an overpass. I mean, West Virginia defense got to get it together a little bit.
Texas leading 2-1 here in set number 3. They lead, or excuse me, we're even at 1 set apiece as Yosia puts that one into the net. That's the first service error of the set, 8th of the match. And again, Texas averages fewer than 6 service errors per match so far this season.
Yeah, and it's been one of the ways West Virginia's been able to end Texas's runs is by Texas service errors.
Audrey Adams to serve for West Virginia, the redshirt senior from Indiana. Here's Eggleston. Eggleston just sort of pops this one into the air. West Virginia almost fooled, not quite. Then Kristen Lux, and a deflection at the net front. Lux with the kill.
Yeah, again, this time, we've talked about this Texas block, but this time they triple block, get just a piece of the ball. It shoots out of bounds, but again, just a piece of it.
Audrey Adams to serve for the Mountaineers. Fires one up, not much spin on it. Far side of the floor, trying to go near side, and looking like the point is going to go to Texas.
Yeah, we have Kristen Lux called in the net right here on the turn.
Let's see now to serve for Texas. This is Sydney Peterson. Fires this one over, looking to the far side of the floor, and then Brianna Lynch really well set up there by Lacey Zerwas.
Yeah, great save by Zerwas. This ball is no question, it's overpassed. She reaches up with her right hand, just kind of kills the momentum of the ball and lets Brianna Lynch, her hitter, come and get it.
So for Zerwas, that's now 18 assists. For Lynch, 7 kills, no errors. Again, quietly having a really effective day for West Virginia. And there's Lynch. She's going to have to kind of push this one over. Jenna Gabriel's going to set things up for Skylar Fields, and Fields tried to pick a spot and wasn't quite there. Then here's Eggleston, deflected at the net front, and up for Winter to get under it. Now here's Lux. This one deflected. Yosia overshoots. This time Yosia going to set this up for Eggleston, chasing it down, and it is in. Deflected. There it is. Deflected. Last touch by a Mountaineer. So Eggleston gets the kill.
Yeah, and really West Virginia lets Texas off the hook. It's an overpass. Lynch goes up, takes a big-time cut at it. But again, you've got to give Texas's defense credit. They dug that ball out.
How about Lynch hitting .636, by the way, for West Virginia. She's a top player in the country in that department this year. Bit of an overpass here from Hastings, and Texas with an easy point.
Yeah, and before we came on the air, that's what we talked about. That's what West Virginia can't do. They got to win the serve-receive battle. They've got to put balls to their setter where they can fool this Texas block a little bit.
That first touch so important. And it was big for West Virginia in their first set, not so much in the second set. Eggleston to serve. Hastings with the dig. Lux is going to try and push one over, and even on a mistimed jump, still able to get that one through. But then West Virginia, it's Brianna Lynch.
Yeah, and really impressive that Zerwas was able to run a quicker set to Lynch, even though the play got kind of hectic and she had some traffic in front of her.
That is the 8th kill for Lynch. She leads West Virginia. She's second among all the players on the floor tonight. Here's Stokes. She's been big from the service line. Knocked the Longhorn over, but no service ace that time. We're in play. Here's Hastings. Gonna set this one up for Petrova. This one high up in the air. Gonna try and chase this one down with Yosia. Into the net front block. Ball still alive. Petrova able to just get it over, and we'll reset for Texas. Fields. Stokes with a really nice dig for West Virginia. Here's Petrova into the net, and Texas picks up the point.
Yeah, and a really good battle here between two teams that played nice defense in this sequence. Petrova like to have that one back. That's a hitting error that really is truly unforced.
Petrova, her 5th error of this match. 6-5 Texas here. A little bit of a closer third set so far. Stokes with the return. Then Brianna Lynch. Eggleston fell down in the back. Not sure if she just tripped or was caught flat-footed by Lynch going with the changeup.
Yeah, interesting to see here because it looks like she stumbles just a tad. Well, she's fooled. She takes a step in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Really good look there by our crew.
Hastings to serve for West Virginia. We're even at 6 here in set number 3, even at 1 set apiece. And that is an unforced hitting error for Texas.
Yeah, and pretty uncommon too. Butler has West Virginia right where she wants. A big, huge hole on the right side, just missed it.
For Texas, just their 6th attack error of this match. Here's Hastings again to serve. Just getting down under that was Eggleston. They're going to set up Fields near side and in.
Yeah, and when Fields gets the ball in this location, when it's not tight to the net, she uses that athleticism. She has really unlimited potential. She can pick and choose where she wants to go. You can see Scott Stokes frozen in the back row.
That is her 8th kill. We're even at 7 here in Morgantown. Stokes. And this one going to be set up at the net front for Dombrowski and then off the block for Texas. 8-7 here as Jenna Gabriel, the 5'8" junior, will serve.
Yeah, and I think both teams limiting each other's runs. Huge part so far here, or huge story, I should say, here early in set number 3.
Gabriel came into this one, by the way, averaging more than 11.5 assists per set as Texas going to pick up another point there.
And it was just last weekend that we saw West Virginia's outside hitters have a huge weekend. And here you can see how tough it is for Petrova to even find an area to get that ball across the net.
Here's Gabriel once again. You can see the dangerous Eggleston along that back line. Hastings with the dig. Stokes is going to fire this one up towards the Texas backcourt. Far side of the floor, setting this one up. Still alive for West Virginia, and then a bit of a miscommunication there. And Texas with the point.
Yeah, and the first real run we've seen here of set number 3 belongs to the Longhorns.
That it was a 3-0 scoring run for Texas. They lead 10-7 as West Virginia takes a timeout on the floor in what has been a back and forth third set. But as you alluded to, the Longhorns taking a little bit of control there.
Yeah, and they've, again, done it just through this serve. Before that,
Her 0 scoring run was even at 7. In fact, as this one is going to fall in, service ace. West Virginia thought maybe going out, and Gabriel with the ace.
I got to tell you, I thought the same thing. I thought initially this ball was easily long, but it just dies in that back left corner.
Second ace of the day for Jenna Gabriel. And for Texas, they're 6th from the service line. Here's Gabriel again. Stokes, first one there. Pushing this one over was Audrey Adams. Going to set this one up for Skylar Fields. Fields gets through the block of Dombrowski, and it's another Texas point. The Longhorns have opened this one up to a 6-point lead.
Yeah, and in this case, West Virginia is completely fooled. Adams was frozen in the middle, and you give these Longhorns a single blocker, it's going to be a long night.
Jenna Gabriel here is winner of this set, kind of in the driver's seat a little bit. Set this one up for Dombrowski, but Dombrowski can't get it through the Texas block. Looked like Breon Butler doing some damage at the net front.
Yeah, so just over the course of the last 3 points, we've seen everything. We've seen a service ace. We've seen a big-time swing by Texas when they fooled you.
12. What a great volleyball conference, how it has helped them out significantly, opening up to new recruits that maybe they wouldn't have previously had access to.
Yeah, and you think about Texas, National Signing Day yesterday, they don't even sign a recruit. They're #1 in the nation. They got everybody coming back for possibly 2 more seasons.
Here's Skylar Fields going to push this one over and gets that one over what might have been a mistimed jump by Audrey Adams. And the Longhorns now up by 8, and they are really beginning to take this one over after dropping that first set.
Yeah, you've really seen them assert themselves over the last 2 sets.
Jenna Gabriel here, and Texas a 9-0 scoring run here. Hastings on the dig. West Virginia going to try and set this one up on the far side of the floor for Petrova. Got it through the block, but still got a piece of it. Stokes chases this one down. West Virginia going to try far side once again, and that one won't get through the block as Breon Butler is there. And Butler's been involved in a number of those blocks today. I think that's her 5th now.
Yeah, and we talked about it again in the open. You have to play near perfect to beat this Texas team, right? You got to hope they're having an off night. You got to catch them off guard. You got to play perfect. West Virginia did that for a set. But now it's so easy to get discouraged as things aren't going your way. If West Virginia's going to get back in this, they've got to find a way to get a little momentum here.
Bit of a misplay there from Texas. West Virginia a little bit sneaky at the net front, and Audrey Adams finds a spot on the floor and hits it.
Yeah, again, ball just overpassed. She's going to go up. She's going to take advantage of it and throw it where she wants it.
And West Virginia finally breaks that scoring run. That was a 10-0 scoring run for the Longhorns broken. Proctor to serve for West Virginia. Yosia on the dig, and then an absolutely monstrous kill from Breon Butler.
Yeah, this ball's on the floor before anybody even realizes it's been hit. This is a huge swing at the net for Texas. You talked about scoring runs. A big scoring run in volleyball would be 3, maybe 4 points. Texas just went on a 10-0 run.
And for Butler, by the way, her 4th kill, and it just shows how deep this Texas team is, that she has not really been the focal point in this one for Texas. Longhorns, they're going to try and set this one up for Eggleston, puts too much on it, and West Virginia will take the point. Lead is at 8, though, 17-9.
Yeah, and Eggleston hasn't had many attacking errors, just her 2nd of the match right there, and it was barely an error.
Hitting 348 on the night. Eggleston, it's actually might even be a little bit below what she normally hits, as another finesse ball hit over. Now it's Lux, and that one is in for Kristen Lux, the Nebraska native.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, you got a long way to go here to get back in set number 3, but if you're going to do it, that's the way it's going to be. You need a little bit of luck.
Lux, who had 430 kills in the first 2 seasons of her career here. And she's going to try and set this one up again. Great response there. Well, Gabriel may have overhit it a little bit, but Gabriel responded there. And then getting it through the block and out of play. That's a point for West Virginia, 17-11.
Yeah, this time the ball's set again to Adams on a little bit of a curl. She comes off 1 foot, uses the deflection of the block over against the antenna. We all know the antenna is instantly out of bounds.
Here's Natalie Winter, and Winter puts way too much on that one. And she's actually got a little smile on her face, because that's one of those, you'd love to have it back, but you let it get away from you.
Yeah, it's the one that the other team instantly knows out of bounds and nobody even has to move.
7-point lead for Texas in set number 3. Longhorns looking to take this one and make it a 2-1 lead. As Lux fires one, and great job by Texas to get it over. No, they're saying that one on the floor, and what a shot from Lux.
Yeah, this ball is crushed. I mean, we've talked a lot about Texas and their ability to hit, and Kristen Lux says, hey, don't forget about me.
Lux can at times be a bit of a streaky player, and it's been a good streak tonight. That's kill number 8, just compared to 3 attacking errors. Here's Eggleston, can't get it through the block at the net front of Lynch. Eggleston again, that time she does. And Eggleston with another kill, that's her 11th. She's leading everybody.
Yeah, and here she really displays her ability to reload quick. So she misses the first one, it comes off the block. Back over, it's quickly set back to her, she reloads and fires again.
19-12, Sydney Peterson to serve for Texas. This one just barely getting over, having to dive for it was Hastings. Here's Lux. Lux straight back to Yosia. Now they're going to set up Eggleston, and Eggleston fires one against Winter. Knocks Winter over, but nice job there. And West Virginia gets this over, and that's a good kill there for West Virginia.
Yeah, and Winter's kind of laughing because she played that ball more out of self-defense. I mean, she couldn't get out of the way. That thing was fired right at her chest, and man, made the best of it.
It's going to wind up being the 9th kill of the match for Kristen Lux, who's now tied with Brianna Lynch for the lead. Longhorns Gabriel going to set this one up for Asia O'Neal, and O'Neal just open season there.
Yeah, and we see O'Neal run a bit of a slide here, comes off of 1 foot, comes back cross court, and it's just too much for Zerwas to handle.
6 kills for O'Neal. 2 Longhorns already in double-digit in kills, Eggleston and Fields. So far, 2013, Texas leads here in set number 3. Here's Eggleston, and got a bit too much on that one. Another service error. That's the 9th service error for the Longhorns here. They're averaging 3% in this match.
Yeah, but I think this is more of a look at the scoreboard. We were up 7. I can take a bit of a risk here and try to get us an ace.
Now on the other side of things, Sky Stokes, who has 4 service aces, all came in the first set. Launches one on the dig there. That was Peterson. West Virginia chasing this ball down. Who are they going to set it up for? Stokes is just going to have to push this over. Now here's Gabriel to Fields. Chasing it down with Zerwas. Now Hastings wants to set up Dombrowski, and Dombrowski finds the spot on the floor.
Yeah, and it's not a ball that's going to be, you're not going to look at it and go, you're not going to be impressed by how hard she swung, but it's the drop of the arm angle, the punch through the block, and the placement of where that ball was put.
Here's Stokes again. Lead now within 5. Hard shot there returned by Peterson, setting up Skylar Fields. Then Stokes in the back line for the dig. Lynch over into the block. Now Petrova, can she get it over? Great job responding to the block for West Virginia. Still alive. Stokes fires this one. Hits the net. Texas is Gabriel to Fields. Stokes in the right spot once again. Great volley here. Can Lynch get this one over? Eggleston with a nice dig. Texas far side of the floor into the net, and it's a point for the Longhorns.
Yeah, really impressed with the way West Virginia played defense there. But again, it just shows you if you give Texas that many swings, eventually they're going to find the way to power one home.
Yeah, that was essentially something that, you know, we talked about. What a fine line the Mountaineers would have to walk, because they like to keep volleys alive significantly, but you almost can't do that against this Texas team. As Stokes with a good dig there for West Virginia. Now Stokes setting this one up. Wanted the kill, too much on it.
Yeah, it's kind of been West Virginia's MO this year is, hey, let's just play defense, keep points alive. We're not always going to be the best at hitting the volleyball. Sometimes we make a few too many hitting errors, but we'll win it at the service line and with our defense. But you can't really do that against a team that's got this kind of firepower.
Texas hitting .337 from the floor. Another service error, though. 22-16. That is the 10th service error now for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, you certainly would like to have that 10-0 run back, because previous to that and since that point, really you've played a nice third set.
Yeah, pretty even. It's just, again, that 10-0 run does make the difference. Eggleston on the dig. Here's Gabriel firing this one over, and nice positioning there for Stokes. And just getting this one over for West Virginia was Petrova. Now Fields for Texas into the block. Eggleston's going to set this one up for Fields. Fields and Hastings nearly got down under it. That's a great kill for Texas and Skylar Fields.
You know it's a great kill when your bench erupts, and that was a huge kill for Texas.
The 2019 Big 12 Freshman of the Year with her 11th kill of this one. Texas nearing a third set victory. Here's Gabriel on the serve. She's been effective from that spot. Adams firing this one over, and that one is just in.
Yeah, again, another perfectly placed ball by Adams, just beyond the Texas libero, just inbounds.
So you got Lindsey Proctor at the service line for West Virginia. And right at the net front is Petrova. There's the dig from Eggleston. Gabriel's going to set up Breon Butler, and Butler just in front of Lindsey Proctor, and that brings up set point, and Texas has a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, not exactly her cleanest swing at the net, but it'll do the trick. It'll score a point. They all go in the book the same.
5 kills now for Butler. And Texas seeing if they can finish this one out here, and then a bit of a misplayed ball there from Proctor, and Texas will win set number 3, 25-17. So after dropping the first set, they've taken the next 2.
Yeah, and done it in dominating fashion.
So we'll take a break here. This is Big 12 Volleyball on the Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Virginia see if they can break Texas's momentum. They have been dominant here in these last 2 sets.
And that's the key. Can West Virginia get off to a good start? You saw them get off to a great start in set number 1. That gave them the energy and the life they needed to believe they need to get off to a good start here.
And net front, good play there by Texas. West Virginia able to keep it alive. Luck's going to fire one, and that one, I think everybody knew it was out before Lux even touched it.
And again, it just speaks volumes to the Texas block, right? So this is a ball that you know you're not going to kill one, but you still are just trying to find a hole, and you can't even do that.
1-0 Texas here as Natalie Winter, maybe a bit too much on that. It makes for an easy play for Logan Eggleston.
Yeah, this is, again, we talked about the West Virginia defense. Could they win the serve-receive battle? Here you get a look at it. It's an overpass, and that's a tough ball to play if you're West Virginia, if you're Lacey Zerwas.
Jenna Gabriel, by the way, is just 1 away from all 13 matches having 30-plus assists as Texas picks up the 3rd of 3 points here in this 4th set.
And this one, by way of the block, it's Breon Butler, who is all over Christina Lux.
3-0 here in set number 4. Gonna try and set this one up for Audrey Adams, and Breon Butler got a piece of it. Keep that volley alive. And now far side, Texas setting things up for a kill. West Virginia keeps it alive. Lux fires one over. Good dig there from Yosia. And then Eggleston fires one down the line and precision.
And again, just adding to that Texas run. We said how important the start would be here for West Virginia. You couldn't have scripted a worse one, but you got to find a way.
Yeah, 5-0 for the Longhorns as Morgan O'Brien to serve. Talked about her 2 dogs she adopted. As West Virginia will pick up their first point of this set. And of course the fact that, funny story we're being told before this match is that Morgan O'Brien just sort of popped up onto Texas's campus as a grad student, and she had some eligibility remaining.
Yeah, as a grad transfer, so she just happens to be there, and coach gets called and says, hey, you know what? You've got a really good volleyball player just walking around on campus. Going to attend school here, and next thing you know, she just falls in the lap of one of the best teams in the country.
The aforementioned O'Brien with the dig there on Lux's kill attempt. This one fired over by Eggleston. Another point for the Longhorns. They lead 6-1, and O'Brien will be the only player among the regulars who is going to be gone after this season.
Yeah, everybody else returns. Everybody else.
Texas now up 6-1. Yosia to serve. And West Virginia will get the point there.
Yeah, this time it's Lynch adding to her kill total, having quite a night for a Mountaineer team that has struggled since set number 1.
Right, Lynch now with 10 kills, still hasn't committed an error. Her hitting percentage is up over 560 at this point. So Zerwas to serve, takes a little bit off that one. Eggleston has to dive to get there. Hard firing on the far side of the floor. Molly Phillips, the sophomore, all 6'5" of her frame into that shot, and Texas up 7-2.
Yeah, and you've seen it from all of these Texas hitters. Eggleston, Butler, Fields, O'Neal. They come at you in so many different directions.
So they'll be back at this tomorrow night, number 1 and number 13. Texas, all-time 16-0 versus these Mountaineers. WV with 2 chances to try and change that against the top-ranked team in the nation. Here's Lux. Lux on the kill attempt. Good job there by O'Brien. Eggleston's going to put this one over, and it's just the awareness there from Eggleston.
Well, she comes at you with just ripping the volleyball, ripping the volleyball, ripping the volleyball, and then all of a sudden she does this, a little change-up, catches you back on your heels, and there's nothing you can do about it.
14 kills for her. We're in set number 4. Generally averages close to 5 kills per set. As Lynch fires this one down, this is going to be trouble trying to chase this one down as Yosia. She's actually able to get there, then Eggleston's going to have to push this one over. Winter set this one up, it's Lynch. Was this one tipped? Yes, it was. Brianna Lynch with kill number 11. She now leads all Mountaineers.
Yeah, still no errors by Lynch. This ball's tipped at the net, deflects out of bounds, giving the point to West Virginia and the kill to Lynch.
And sort of the reverse story of against Iowa State. West Virginia knew they were going to need to find someone to sort of play second fiddle to Lynch in that one today. Lynch has been darn near perfect as Stokes fires one into the net for a service error, but it hasn't quite been the case on the other side. Yeah, Kristen Lux has 10 kills. She also has 6 errors. So it's been kind of a problem for West Virginia today trying to find someone to complement Brianna Lynch.
Well, and again, that's a credit to the team that you're playing against. It's going to be difficult for a lot of teams to find any player to have success against this Longhorn defense.
Right. What are they ranked again? I think is that number 1?
I think it's something to do with the 1.
Here's Jenna Gabriel setting up Skylar Fields, far side. Fields and Stokes got a piece of it. Fields gets the kill.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been impressed not only with the hitters. The hitters are every bit as good as advertised, but just how well-rounded the Longhorns are. Their defense is really, really good. If you point to one area tonight that they probably wish they would have been better at, it is from the service line.
And they lead 10-3 here in set number 4, as that's Eggleston who's had some success there. Far side of the floor, Petrova trying to go from far to near corner, and it's out of play, 11-3, and Texas having a very quickly dominant 4th set.
Yeah, and you know, this just weighs on your mind as a hitter. You've been blocked, you've been blocked, you've been blocked. Where can I go to get a ball in? You finally get one that you can swing on, and you just miss it wide.
As Eggleston fires this one into the net, that's the 11th Texas service error. And that was a big storyline in the first set. It has been less important here since these sets 2 and 3 just haven't been close.
Yeah, once they've opened it up, you've probably seen a few more errors, but that's the risk you're willing to take.
Here's Hastings to serve down that far sideline. They're not Hastings on the dig. Zerwas going to try and set up Stokes, and Stokes, yes, it's in.
It was ruled in, I believe personally.
There.
I mean, what a set by Jenna Gabriel. This ball is put on the money. I mean, right in her wheelhouse.
With 35 assists now in this one, Gabriel with more than 30 assists in every match this season. 12-7, and this one fired into the net. So again, we talk about service errors. That's number 12 for Texas. That one O'Neal that time, and West Virginia quietly hanging around here in set number 4.
Yeah, gave up the run, but since that little run, they're right here hanging around 4. Can they go on a little one and knot this thing up?
They got a little run of their own too. I think it was a 4-0 run before it was broken there moments ago by Skylar Fields. So 12-8 here. This one to be fired over, and that hit the baseline, and I think it was deflected. So either way, Texas is going to get a point.
Yeah, the deflection here puts a little side spin on the ball, kind of kills its momentum and keeps it in the floor as well.
13-8 Longhorns lead. Gabriel to serve. Remember, she was instrumental in that as she fires one into the net for an error, but she was instrumental in that 10-0 run that Texas went on in set number 3.
Yeah, she was the server. She was back there, captain of this team. I mean, from a quarterback standpoint, every play is going to go through her as the setter, and man, what a great setter she is.
And I will say to West Virginia's credit, they have been a little bit better than the numbers, as Texas is generally just so dominant, and they've held Texas to under 360. But still, those are great numbers. Here's Lux, and can't get that one through the block, but still alive. They're going to try and set this one up again for Lux, and Texas able to keep that alive just barely. So now West Virginia, can they set this up here for Adams? Can't get it through the block, but Winter able to chase it down. West Virginia, here's Lux, and Lux, Eggleston decides to play it. Skylar Fields now. Good positioning from Hastings. Chasing it down is Zerwas. Here's Winter into the block at the net front. Great team block there. Got a couple of Longhorns, Fields, Butler, and Texas with the point.
Man, it's got to be frustrating for West Virginia, right? I mean, 4 different times the ball unable to cross the net in that rally. You kept 3 of them alive, and the 4th one finally did you in.
Texas, by the way, on the season hitting .337 from the floor. Coming into this one, they're hitting .355. There's some net front play. Eggleston, great response there. Maybe a little too much on it from Proctor, but she's able to fight it off. Good net front block for West Virginia. Texas keeping this alive. Here's Eggleston again, and pinballing around the Mountaineers back line, and 15-9 Texas with the point there.
Yeah, the ball was good anyway, but we have a violation, a net violation on West Virginia.
Eggleston, by the way, with 14 kills in this one. There's Proctor on the dig, gonna set this one up for Lux, and Yosia decides to play it and sends it into the seats.
Yeah, and one of the adjustments West Virginia has made, they bring their outside hitter in toward the middle a little bit, trying to change the angle of that block, give West Virginia the opportunity to go down the line with its outside hitters.
That's the 11th kill for Lux. They're gonna try and set up Eggleston, and at the front with the block out of play. Zerwas and Lynch were set up there, but couldn't keep it in.
Yeah, Yosia here instantly off of this block is calling it out. Good call. Again, Texas's back row has been really good.
16-10, Longhorns lead here in set number 4. Gonna try and set this one up for Lux, and Kristen Lux. That is a big time kill.
Yeah, a little frustration, I think, coming out in that swing. She put a little extra oomph on this ball, and you could hear it.
You could see it on her face, too. There is a sense of relief there as she picks up her 12th kill. Zerwas to serve. A little bit off of that one. Block set up there for West Virginia. Gonna try and fire this one. Lynch can't get it through the block. Ball still alive, though. Lux just has to kind of push this one over. Here's Yosia, gonna set this one up for Eggleston. Takes something off of it. Diving is Zerwas. Great play by her. Lux fires this one. This is gonna be a problem. Brianna Lynch then able to put one over. Bit of a misplayed ball by Texas. West Virginia not able to make them pay here. Then Lynch, not enough on it and into the net. That's her first error of the night from the attack.
Yeah, and this all leads from Dombrowski playing a ball as she's retreating off the net on a ball that Winter is calling behind her. Let your defense play that ball. More likely to put a pass on the money to Zerwas.
17-11, Texas lead. 18-12, Texas leads. Eggleston, who's been dangerous from the service line. She puts one back for Stokes. And nice decoy there from Lynch. Then Petrova winds up firing it. She tries to go cross court and out of play.
Yeah, the block is taking the line to less sharp cross court away. So you really got to cut that ball at an angle, and it's really tough to do.
19-12, Texas leads here. West Virginia running out of points. Eggleston to serve for the Longhorns, who are looking to win their 13th out of 13. Firing this one over. Texas able to retrieve it from the back court. Here's Fields. Fields took a little bit off that one. West Virginia not fooled. Fields again, this time puts a little bit more on it. Hastings gets a piece, then Stokes, and then into the net. And a point for Texas, and they are up big, 20-12, and just dominating here in set number 4. They lead West Virginia all-time 16
letters against the number 10 ranked team in the country in back-to-back nights, and had them on the ropes in both contests. Again, this West Virginia program has come a long way. They're so close to turning the corner. So many firsts this year, program first, wins over Iowa State, getting ranked. I mean, they really are playing with a lot of confidence.
Logan Eggleston to serve for Texas as she fires the 14th Texas service error, but right now you're okay with that. It's 20-13 in set number 4, and you're 5 points away from winning this match.
Yeah, but if you're West Virginia, this isn't just about tonight. You know you're going to re-rack this thing and do it again tomorrow. So if you're West Virginia, this is about learning, this is about gaining confidence, this is about getting ready to take on the same team tomorrow night.
Into the net front, Audrey Adams couldn't get it through the block there. You had Asia O'Neal and Skylar Fields there.
Yeah, and here's going to be a really good look at it. The ball just not set high enough for Adams to really try to do anything with it. It just shoves it right in the top of the net.
21-13, Texas leading by 8 here in set number 4. And a chance to close things out as we see, looks like Riley Heinrich, haven't seen much of her today. To serve for the Longhorns. On the far side, that was Petrova. Eggleston with the dig. Now Gabriel gonna try and set up Fields. Fields can't quite get it through the block. Far side of the floor, Petrova hits the WVU medicine sign. No, they're saying in.
Yeah, got Taylor, got Jenna Gabriel in the net there.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say the shot looked clearly out, yet you are right. 21-14, so West Virginia gets the serve back. And it'll be Proctor, the New York native, 5'8" senior. Yosia on the dig, firing this one up is Butler, and Butler can't get through the block. Maybe, again, a little bit of life for the Mountaineers.
And that's what you need. That's what you need to see more of tonight, more of tomorrow when you get to redo this thing. but West Virginia's block has got to put a little bit of pressure on this Texas offense.
Another senior there for West Virginia, Audrey Adams. Nice job at the net front. 21-15, another one. This one fired back, and this time it's the freshman Stokes who can't quite get that in full. Kill for Texas, and again, they lead by a touchdown here.
Yeah, and here you get a good look at Butler. She just splits it. West Virginia tried to set the double block. Just couldn't do it there.
For the Longhorns, Gabriel. Getting down there is Hastings on the dig. Gonna try and set this one up for Petrova. Texas able to keep that one alive. That looked dangerous. Fields finally puts this one over. Proctor. Now Adams. Adams' kill attempt was blocked. Fields pushes this one over. There's Stokes. West Virginia gonna try and set up Adams. This one deflected again. Texas able to get under it. Here's Gabriel. Gabriel for Fields. And in a good position is Hastings. Stokes, and I think we have a whistle, and likely, I believe, we've got something coming against West Virginia.
Yeah, I believe the up official is called 2 contacts.
And can't really have many errors here. West Virginia, their 30th attack error, and it's now 23-15, and compared to Texas, who has just 9 errors from that same spot. What a difference. Far side of the floor, here's Petrova. This one gonna get through, no. Texas able to get behind that one, it was Gabriel. Skylar Fields chasing it down is Hastings. Still chasing that one down is Stokes. Proctor's just gonna have to fire this one over. She got it there. Now Texas here with an opportunity, and Breon Butler. The penultimate point for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and if you're West Virginia, what a great hustle play here by Stokes to keep it alive, but in turn you had to give them a free ball. You give Texas a free ball. You're going to pay.
It's over when you do that. 8 kills for Butler. Here's Gabriel. Can she close things out for Texas? Fires this one back to Proctor. Chasing this one down for West Virginia. Now Stokes has to put this one over. Gets it through the net. Fields plays it. Eggleston's going to put this one up for Fields. Net front block there. Still fighting for it. Stokes again. And Stokes into the block, and Texas will win. Texas sets it up at the net front there. Butler, Phillips, Skylar Fields, and just using that size once again, Texas is victorious.